Hey, I mean, I think it's great that you kind of threw it out there and, you were down for it.
Yeah,
You
no, bro.
know,
I
it's
love it. I love it. I
no,
love a new experience, bro. Anything that's new is fun to me.
I'm still trying to learn it, to be honest. It's not polished. I mean, you can
Yeah,
tell I've got video from my phone and audio on my computer, so it's
bro.
going.
Everyone's just making it work. No, it looks good though.
So,
It looks really good.
no, appreciate it, man. So we'll just kick it off here in a sec. So, hi, this is Alex from the Millennial Entrepreneur. I've got my buddy Zach here with me. He's got a brand, the ZWI Projects. We used to play rugby together back at Arkansas State, and he's out in Georgia right now, just kicking off his own brand. And great to have you, Zach.
Appreciate you having me, bro. It's good to see you.
Yeah, man. So if you could take a second and just let me know, kind of, you've got this brand you've started up. Kind of, what was your motivation to start it? Why are you taking the entrepreneurial path? What difficulties have you faced? Kind of take it from there.
Yeah. So to firstly start off, like why I sort of wanted to start it was that me personally, as like a individual, I don't know if I really fall into the like 9 to 5 scheme, and I think that's been more of a pathway for people now, because it's not all jobs aren't traditional. Like online's booming.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot more. I don't know. There's a lot more possibilities if you go away from the 9 to 5. I think maybe in past years it's been like the only route. Like you have to sort of go to school and get a job, and then so for me, I'm actually still in school. I start grad school in January, so I wanted to try and have something that was flexible enough that you could manage both times. Because I feel like if you have a 9 to 5, it sort of takes over your priority on like a lot of things. Like it could be anything. You might not be able to do anything from Monday to Friday because
Mm-hmm.
you're just worried about doing work, and you have little work home to take over. So I wanted to have the flexibility to be able to sort of set my own hours and like I really like also like how you for entrepreneurs, like you get what you put in type thing.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
like that. Like I feel like that's something that's actually rewarding if you know you're putting in the work. It might not even be like be working straight as well, but at least you're putting in that work. Sometimes I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I've had a 9 to 5 before, and like maybe like 3 hours I'm doing work, 5 hours I'm just like chilling, like just looking at the clock, looking at the clock, like, come on, man,
It's
when's it gonna
not
be 5 o'clock?
motivating, is it?
Yeah,
No.
yeah. Just like I'm looking up, and I'm just like, okay, it's 4:30, and I look over, and then I'm like, okay, 4:45, and then I just
Yeah.
don't. That doesn't really appeal to me that much. And then honestly, like for being an entrepreneur, I feel like it takes a lot of courage to step out of your comfort zone. Like it's a challenging thing. It's definitely, like we talked about before, is like it's intimidating to come
Mm-hmm.
out of your little, like, the comfort zone. I feel like the comfort zone is very appealing to a lot of people just naturally, because like it's safe. You feel safe, which is like, you know what I mean? But then like what I as an individual have tried to do, and I obviously have failed at it many times, but like to try and pick the toughest path, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Like
Well, it's the toughest, but potentially the most rewarding. You know what
yeah,
I
I feel
mean?
like anything that's hard in life, as we've noticed now, we're in our mid-20s, is like
Yeah.
the most rewarding. If it's easy, then it's like it's not really going to be that good.
Mm-hmm.
So like I've always tried to pride myself on, like, if like say everyone's going this way, and it's like, because that's probably the easier route. Like yourself, like the podcast world is new. It's still very new. There's a lot of people that are doing podcasts now, but it's still extremely new. But like if someone so if you told someone maybe like 20 years ago, hey, I'm going to start talking into a microphone with people, they probably like, what? Like, you know what I mean? Like everything's new, I feel like. And it's like
Yeah.
once you step out of that comfort zone, and you might I'm just saying there's probably million people that have done it, but if you step out of your comfort zone and you fail terribly, you're going to learn more about yourself than just sitting in your comfort zone for your whole life. And honestly, a lot of people do that, bro. I think a lot of people choose the route that they're comfortable with and just bunker down and sort of just like live life that way. And I feel like that's the only way I don't want to live. Like I don't care if you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's a bit deep, but it's like that's
No,
like
it's
the
it's
thought process
totally
that
true.
yeah, that's just how I think.
Yeah. So where I work on the CBD industry, I have some employees that work with me, and
Mm,
I had always thought, growing up, I grew up in a very entrepreneurial home. We're trying to start businesses
interesting.
and grow and things like that, and so I always assumed everyone had that want. Everyone wanted to go in and they wanted to give it everything they got, no matter the time. It wasn't 9 to 5. It's just do your job, get it done. And at the end, you'll be rewarded. But it was almost difficult for me on some portions because some people don't want that. And they don't want to have to make the decision, and they don't want to have it. And I always wondered why, but I started to realize that it's very stressful. And some people don't want that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure in your experience, just starting up your brand, it's like, okay, how do I get clothing that looks good, high quality? How do I get my logo on it? How do I make a website? How do I brand it? How do I post this and not like the risk of getting like laughed at or shut down? Like how do I manage that risk internally? And some people they just don't even want to deal with it. Like their value is like watching football or watching sports or like some maybe going hunting or things like that. Like that's where their kind of mind is. The business side is stressful and they don't want to do it. So people like you, where you're willing to jump out and you're willing to get ahead of it and be like, look, I have a high chance of failing right now, but I'm going to learn an insane amount just by stepping out onto the field and doing it.
100%. Yeah, bro. I think that's like the attraction of comfort, because you don't have to deal with anything like the stress or even like you said, the own internal things, which is something that I feel like as soon as you like make it that decision to start your own thing, you had to like, once you made that decision, then you don't even think about it. But there's a lot of things internally that you might not even think about before you did that. And once you do it, exactly like you were saying, like, oh, like, what am I doing? Like sometimes, brother, when I first started, I was like, what am I doing? Like, I just would think, and then I'd be like, oh no, just keep going. Like, don't try. And I think it's like, you just got to block out the noise, especially when you talk to people that are from maybe the more 9 to 5 avenue. They have like a lot of biases for that. And they think that like, oh, that's not going to work. You need to have this schedule. You know what I mean? You have to be, like, I think I tried to just sort of just do everything, like learn by my mistakes. Like I don't want to, like I definitely reached out to people to ask for like some advice maybe on things that I didn't really know, but I never wanted to ask someone advice that maybe alter my own thought process or the path. Like I would rather learn from making my own mistakes than someone saying, don't do that because it's like, maybe that didn't work for you. It might work for me. You know what I mean? So that's what I've always been trying to do. Which it's hard to do that as well.
It is. And it seems like I have one question that I want to ask you. I think it's pretty critical, but I've seen just something that may help you is the old strategy before all of the social media and how things move so quickly was like ready, aim, fire. Like that was how brands did it. Companies did it. They would get ready. They would check the market. They would do all this analysis. They would aim and then they would launch. And someone said it's been a big flip now with the millennial generation and our technology and how quickly it changes to where it's ready, fire.
Yeah.
If you 100%. Aim, you miss the curve. You don't have that luxury anymore of being able to sit back, do all this research. It's like you just figure out kind of where you want to go and you fire. And that's what you do. Like,
I like that.
I don't know if you've seen too much into like the business plans, but they used to do 5-year business plans and now they do 1 to 2 year business plans because in 5 years, the whole market will be upside down.
Everything's changing.
Yeah, they don't even look at it. But
if I even tried to plan 5 years ahead, I'd have too much anxiety. I'd be like, this is too. I don't even know how people look that far. Some people do that, but I don't know how you look that far as well. I like that how you said that. So that's cool.
I'd like to take you back a little bit, just mentally, and so your brand. When did you start it? And when did you when would you say maybe you made your first sale or you put your website up?
Probably put my website up probably like 6 weeks ago.
Okay.
It's been pretty new, but like I made the decision like in the summer, like probably about 6 months, probably like 5 months ago. So I made a decision. I was like, because then you had to do like the legal stuff, like the LLC, all that sort of stuff. So I said, all right, if I'm going to do it, now that I'm thinking about that, it's actually been way longer process than it, like leading up to it, but it was like a long process.
That's what I was kind of trying to get
now that I'm thinking about it now, I was like, okay, so I made the decision probably the start of summer, sort of when the COVID sort of started heating up. Like, you know, when it first came out, no one really knew what it was. And then things started shutting down. When everything started shutting down and then people started thinking, okay, this is a longer term thing, I said, okay, I have to make a decision to either I'm going to wait and see what the world does, or I'm just going to do it on my own time and make a decision. So I said, okay, I'm making a decision, made some calls, learned how to make the business. I didn't even know how to do that. So I had to call the people and get advice, and I made it. And then from then till about 6 weeks ago when I did that website, I probably had to grow as a person, to mentally just to take on just doing my own thing. I grew mentally.
It's a big step. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it really is. It really is. And I was like, okay, so I took all that time. Obviously I had to prepare the business, make the website, get everything designed, do all that, reach out to friends. I was pretty lucky that one of my best mates is he models. That's what he does. So I was like, okay, I already have that. So I didn't have to reach out to
good.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I already had one thing off. I had one thing ready. But then, so I did that. I had to prepare and basically learn as I went along. But once I made the decision, I knew that I was just keep going and just whatever happens, happens. But when I made the decision, it was everything else from there was it just flowed. It was, and there was definitely harder times, hard days or whatever. But I just stayed to it. And then so one thing that maybe will help with the decision, help make it clearer about the decision that I made. So I made the decision that I wanted to, for coronavirus, whenever it happened, all I wanted to do was make sure that whenever it's done, I want to be a different person. I want to be, I want to just grow as much as I can. And that was probably one of the things that helped that decision in myself to grow. Definitely helped me. It definitely led to the decision to make my own business. You know what I mean? I didn't, at that time, I didn't know that I was going to lead to this now. I just said, okay, I'm just going to invest in myself, and I have to make sure that when it's over, who knows, I don't know when it's going to be over, but I'm making sure that I'm putting in the work now, that when it is over and the world opens back up, I'm in a way better spot than I was.
No, and it's going through the steps of just starting an LLC or, branding or sourcing. It really peels back the curtain and shows you it's not this untouchable thing. You know what I mean? Making an LLC or a C Corp or something is not like this, like a banker or a CPA has to do it. It's I can really, in a couple of weeks,
yeah, exactly.
I can make a company. I don't know if it would be profitable, but
exactly.
I can make it.
See, I was foreign to that world. I had no idea. I looked at it, I was like, what do I have to do? I was literally just Googling, how do I, start a business? And I was like, these things all sound crazy. I was on the phone, how do I do this? And it was literally an online form. And I was like, sweet. I really had no idea. But like you said, it's not it sounds like it's a daunting experience, but it's just it's just, online, everything just, type in your name and do your thing.
You can get in trouble real easy. That's the way I kind of like to say it. It's you can open a bank account and take on credit real easy.
Yeah, for real.
So, as far as a mental, it sounds like it was pretty big decision as far as the direction you wanted to go. But if you could explain a bit why you felt the brand was your space, and then also when you think your moment was where you kind of let, I don't know if it's the whole world, but you kind of let the world know, or your inner circle know, that you're doing a brand and you're going to make this website, and you're going to what your moment was of maybe launching the website or things like that.
So, okay. So like we were talking about earlier, with the, for making it for clothes, for me, I've always been interested in not, I wouldn't say high-end fashion, but I've always loved clothing, how people dress, and if I I've always walk around, see people oh, that guy's got some nice style about him or whatever like that. And I've also been pretty I think different in my own style. I like to to be sort of wear what I would wear, or be a little bit different. I don't know if you remember that from.
I was about to say I can vouch for that. Zach's always been fashion forward over most of the guys.
Yeah, bro. I like to wear different. If someone's wearing if it's the tight clothing, I'll try and rock baggy, or if it's if it's baggy thing, I'll try to rock this tightest thing. I've always tried to be different, and then also put my own little spin on it. I just try to have a little bit of authenticity in everything I do. But yeah, so as close as what I decided, and I was okay, that's in my mind, business wise. I try to always flip it to a little bit of business. I was okay, that's like clothes is cool. I got people that I know that are like model and stuff. Like I'm sure like, you know, I'm still young. Like, everyone likes wearing cool clothes. You know what I mean? Like that's like so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
And it's something that like I needed to have like a creative outlet, if that makes sense. Like I really wanted something that I like could just be creative, and like it's sort of like a almost therapeutic for myself. Like I can have a creative outlet and then also make a product type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just sort of needed that in my life because I don't know, I feel like creativity is something that everyone has, but it gets dulled down in a lot of people because of the like I don't know, the fear that you have without, you know, being like yourself. I feel like if you're doing your own creativity and you're putting it out there, then you're being, you know, you're yourself. And I feel like being yourself is something that's like sort of maybe also dulled down as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like
well,
I
it's
feel
a
like
bit scary to do, you know. It's like you were
exactly,
saying before. It's like there's the grained paths or whatever paths or whatever that term is.
No, I got you. I know exactly.
But
what you mean.
it's like, you know, I can go and I can wear whatever everyone else is wearing, and if I go and wear something different, now my friends have something to easily kind of attack me on.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, not maybe in a negative way, but like someone can like make fun of you for it, or you just open yourself up a little bit, and it's not always the most comfortable thing to do.
Yeah. So this is actually really funny. Actually, like this. So if I like used to like hearing people go like, bro, what are you wearing? I used to like love. That's what I used to be like. Yeah, I used to like, okay, cool. I'm wearing something good then. That's like what I used to think about. But yeah, exactly. Like if people like. If you do the same as everyone, you're never gonna have any criticism, and that's what like some people. I'm not saying everyone. It's like it is like another thing when I would talk about the comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
Like if everyone's got I don't know, everyone's wearing like the cool shirt, like everyone's got that on, and everyone's wearing it, then you're just, you know what I mean. No one's gonna say anything, and then you're chilling. But I feel like it's definitely scary, like you said, to be yourself. But if you do be yourself. And that's when people that actually have value to you, like the people that actually will bring value into your life, your connection with them will grow stronger. Yeah. Because like if you're yourself, then people will like you for who you are. If you're someone else and that's what they like, then how are you going to be yourself? You're not going to, you know what I mean? No one's going to even know who you are but if you try and just be authentic, then I feel like the people that are meant to be in your life will be in your life. That's sort of what I think about it. But like, it's scary. It's scary for a lot of people, but I feel like it's just like, I don't know, it's undermined. Like I think if like that could be taught to people, the younger kids, even younger than us, like if just be yourself from day dot and then just see where it goes. Because like, especially when you're younger, you know what I mean? Like I'm going back to like when we're in like high school or thing, like you don't want to be like the kid that like everyone's like teasing, you know what I mean? Like I feel like that's just like how we grow up, and then as we get older, we get more self-aware and want to try and, you know, just be, and like when you be yourself and like, and you like meet like, or like you're liked for that, or like people respect that, then it's like such a way better feeling than being fake and then liked, you know what I mean?
And, you know, I almost take it outside the podcast here for a second. You should really take that moment of explanation and put that on your website somewhere.
Yeah, I was just deep thought,
but it's honestly, that stuff is like the most, like I think that's like a core belief of yours, you know what I mean? And I think you could really, if you promoted that, there's other people that feel that way and they are not willing, or they don't think that they can express themselves in that way. And you could, you know, it's your company or brand or however you want to do it, but if you could mold that into yours. And one of the other guys, Jaime, I was talking to, was saying he lets people come in and they have like a custom piece that they want, and he helps create it for them. But then he takes that and then he puts it on his website as like a retail product. So he almost takes the creativity from someone else, creates it for them the first time, and then
uses it. That's pretty interesting.
Exactly. So like if your buddies, just as a suggestion, if they have anything, you could, instead of you bearing all of the weight of the creative side, maybe delegate it. You know?
Yeah, that's pretty cool how he does that. That's interesting.
Yeah, it helps him a lot. So one of the things I was looking at is your products on your website. So
Mhm.
you have, I think, a beanie for like $25, and then it goes
Yeah.
up to 60 or $70.
Yeah.
What was, where are you at as far as your pricing, or where are you getting your pricing from, or what's the motivation behind it? Are you trying to meet, like, for example, are you trying to meet the market in certain areas? Are you trying to meet
Mm.
the market on the creative brand side, or looking at Nike, how they brand,
Yeah.
or
So the way I looked at it was there's like the sort of like massive, like huge name brands that are like all like e-commerce like giants. They probably have their
yeah,
things like more like lower price because they have just such a huge audience, like, and like they're obviously going to get like multiple like sales is through the roof. And there's like the middle brand, like the small business, maybe like I've noticed that a lot of people have like more than just one person designing it. And like sort of for my like target audience, it's not going to be, like there's guys that are like in like maybe the high end circles, and they're selling hoodies like $400. Like, have you?
yeah,
I don't
like
know
the
if you.
Blueberry or all them. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like $400. Okay, I was
not
like, all right,
Blueberry.
firstly, I know that like that's not gonna be like realistic for me, especially if I like want my friends to like get
Yeah.
involved as well, which is something that I've actually really wanted to do. Like, I wanted like a little community type thing, but like yeah, like there's no way I'm gonna be able to make a pro for like $400. Like I was like,
Mm-hmm.
that's just not me. And
Yeah.
then so like I try to go like sort of like in the middle of the smaller business type thing. It's like, hey, it's like a very small business. It's like it's not like like some hoodies you might get them for $30. It's gonna be more than that. But it's like, it's affordable enough for, say, because I'm like, still in the college, like I'm still
Mm-hmm.
technically in school myself. Like someone could buy a $60 hoodie if they're still in school and I have like a part-time job. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be like, hey bro, I can't do that. Like, that's crazy
Yeah.
that you're trying to kill me. And then like they can all, you know what I mean? They also can like sort of make it like reasonable enough for someone who has, if someone has like, some of my mates have full-time jobs. For them, it's not, you know what I mean? Like, oh sweet, it's like I'll just grab a hoodie like just to like be cool. You know what I mean? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
not. I try to like find the middle ground of, because like most of the people that I'm still connected with are either full-time jobs or full-time students.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like try to
So
find
your
the fine line in
brand
the middle.
is almost mimicking your friend group, or
Yeah, just sort of like I try to
your
mimic myself,
connections.
maybe. Yeah, just
Yeah.
sort of like who I'm actually connected with, and like where I think that the brand will be able to connect with as well, and who it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna touch. Like, say if my friend bought a hoodie and was like doing like cool photos, what's his friends do? Like they might be full-time job or part-time job in school. Like that's like
Mm-hmm.
like I wanted to get like sort of the maybe like 18 to I guess 20, 25, 26, 27, like the people that are maybe finishing grad school or starting PhDs or just starting university, like just that
Mm-hmm.
little, that's sort of like that young age. And then a lot of those people are also wearing, like wanting to like, wear clothes. And like not everyone likes to wear like, like I feel like in America, it's like a big thing. Like everyone wants to wear like designer. Like not everyone
Yeah.
wants to wear like Gucci, you know what I mean? Like it might be cool, but like not everyone's going for
That's
like Gucci,
that's
you know what
not
I mean? Like,
me. Yeah, that's
yeah,
not
yeah, yeah,
my.
yeah. It's not, yeah, that's not
Yeah.
me. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. But no, it's interesting what you're describing, because I've seen people characterize the generations. So you got the boomers and millennials and Gen Xers
Mm-hmm.
and all that. And what they do is big brands will, the millennials are a set band age, and you
Mm-hmm.
can calculate it from maybe the 90s all the way
Yeah.
through, or maybe 1985. But then you go through and you say, okay, when are these people graduating? When
Mm-hmm.
are these people getting jobs? Because
Yeah.
then you have like a physical band, or a band on a graph. You can see when people are going to start spending money. And
Yeah.
so it sounds like what you're doing is taking the millennial generation band, and you're cutting it in the middle, because so many people are on the edge of college or on the edge of business.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Exactly. Yeah.
trying to meet that market, which is an awesome idea, in my opinion. I think it's a great thing to hit.
Yeah. I try to appreciate that.
So where would you say, you have your brand, you
Yeah.
have your Instagram, you've got people that you're collaborating with. You have, I think I saw on your website, there was maybe 8 products on there. What
Mm-hmm.
would you say is, where you want to go? Are you going to create, well, this is something, are you going to have a warehouse hold your inventory? It's likely all coming to your house and maybe you're
Yeah.
embroidering it. Do you want to keep it that small? Do you want to go to where it's somewhat of a, have a packer do it for
Yeah.
you? Or
Good
what's kind
question.
of your goal or vision for the next 6 months?
Yeah, good question. So right now I have it all at my house,
Mm-hmm.
which is like, I guess that's probably where most people start for like, small business. And for me, my business, like I don't have, like, I don't know if you're like that familiar with e-commerce, but like a lot of people have like a pretty large or significant ad budget.
Yeah.
So for me, my goal is to use no ad budget. Like I want to make it all organic, like all of me or the community, like to try and build, like, what I mean? Like make it real. Like I don't want to, like I'm sure I've like sort of been learning more and more about e-commerce, but like someone will start a brand and they'll just put like maybe like 4K ad budget.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, what I mean? Like it does look appealing on social media as well. If you flick through an ad and you see, okay, cool, like, 6,000 followers, like, oh, these guys are legit, you know what I mean? But it's like, I feel like e-commerce sometimes, and it's sort of like, it's cloudy because you might see 6,000 followers, but you don't even know how much products are selling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you don't know how much money they spent on their ad to get that appealing
Yeah.
thing. You know what I mean? And they might have 4K ad, but like they might only made 2K sales.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's like, especially because I'm in school, you know what I mean? Like I'm not going to be dropping 2K ad here, 2K ad there.
Mm-hmm.
So mine's like, okay, my goal is like, it's all organic. People that it's in their friend group. It's like someone like, do you know what I mean? Like, so it will be it's going to be a lot more slow, but then it will also be a lot more real.
It's a lot more organic.
So, it's not, you know what I mean? It's not like some dude from, like just some random guy I would never know who might not even engage with the post and actually, so it's more like, I guess relative.
Mm-hmm.
But like, so then my plan is sort of see where it goes, considering like where I'm going to have the products packed. But right now it's sort of, first you asked for the 6 months, so I'll give the 6 months and the first. It's definitely will just be at my house as I'm doing uni, and then like I also have like aspirations to do my PhD, so I'm going to be like building my academic resume and
that's awesome,
doing stuff like that. So that's sort of the plan, is to, while I have this sort of elongated period of school, like it's probably going to be the next sort of 60 years of my life, like do the brand as well the whole time. And then sort of like, as I filter through the years, hopefully it's more, it's going to keep growing and growing and growing. And then as I'm doing school, it's sort of like, you know what I mean? My whole life is in school. It's like, I have that's why I was telling you about the like creative outlet, you know what I mean? And like, it's also like getting your mind away from, your work or your school and all that. So I have that creative outlet, and then it's like, I can turn it into like a business side as well. So, and I think obviously, like, as well as when you're running your own business, you learn a lot about a lot of things that I'm not really, businessy. I don't have like, before I did this, I wouldn't say I would like know how to business runs or other things, but I'm like noticing a lot more things. So yeah, that's like basically my plan, is to like see as it grows, and then also like do it as like on that sort of, I guess you'd say 5 to 6 year plan of like doing my school as well with it type thing, and just sort of see how it grows. You know what I mean?
It's a very interesting kind of way to do it, because it's a lot of people want to get in and blow it up. And
that was like the biggest thing I had to struggle with.
Yeah, because everyone's like, let's start doing 100K in sales a month. Let's get up to we're making over $1 million a year. Let's just push it, as hard as we can. And it seems like yours is more grow it slow and organic, and leave it as an outlet, but a profitable outlet, and something where you can get some real core believers in what you're doing, that really want to grow on the journey with you.
Yeah, exactly. Because but like I'm telling you, but like that's one of the things that I've like had to really work on to come to like pieces like you. So like just like you said, like the overnight success is such it's so like, it's just what we like, people love that. Like it's like it's like the same thing, like, oh, like if I do this now, I could have like $20,000 tomorrow. Like that's like, I don't know if that's
sexy,
realistic for a lot of people.
It's like
oh my gosh,
wow.
what? Yeah, I love that. But like, I just don't think, for some people it might be realistic. You know what I mean? Like for people that are in that whatever circle they're in, that might be actually a realistic thing. But for me, it's like that does sound so, like you said, it's a sexy, like a perfect word for it. But for me, I just had to like come to grips with like, I know that that's not my sort of path, and that's one thing that I've like noticed a lot, is like, everyone has like different sort of, like he might go first and you might have to wait a little bit longer. Like everyone has like different sort of like things. Like it's not that 20K overnight success might not be meant for you.
Mm-hmm.
And like everything that's like sort of like your own journey, like you have to just be like comfortable with your own steps. You know what I mean? You can't compare yourself to them because they're different to you.
That's exactly, yeah. It's not apples to apples. You know what I mean? It's like,
no way.
you know, you may only see, I think what I saw a post or something that was saying it's like the tip of the iceberg idea where someone spends, you know, you see overnight success, but maybe they did what you're talking about and they built a group for 6 years. And that group was so solid and such a core that no matter what you did, whenever you started to crank it up, they went with it, and other people were like, "Wow, this is really something."
Yeah. But yeah, I think again, the comparing, the tip of the iceberg is a great analogy, but like the comparing is where people, that's what messes with their own identity, because like they're trying to compare themselves with someone that, like you just said, you don't know what they've been doing to get to where they were.
Yeah.
And like a perfect example for me, when you said that, was like a musician. Like they've probably been working at it since they were like, you know, like maybe 10. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like 10. Who knows? And then like so now that they might be 19 and like, you know, like act like on huge festivals or who knows, but they've probably been like working at that their whole life. Probably like, you know what I mean? Like who knows how much like trials and tribulations they've gone through just to get where they are. And like I think as well with social media, a lot of people are becoming successful or wealthy or famous at a lot of a younger age, especially with like, I'm not really like well known into it, but I know my girlfriend like watch like their TikTok, like, you know, there's like people that are like, or Instagram, there's like kids that are like 13 and they're famous. And that's sort of, I think that's sort of also playing in a role in the comparing thing. Like someone who might be 19 is like a millionaire. It's like, I'm 24. It's like, why? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's just like everyone has their own thing. Like if you're having to compare yourself to someone else, then you're already sort of, you know, you're already losing the battle, because it's not about, it's about you doing your own thing. You're not trying to be like someone else.
Well, and everyone likes to take the grass is greener approach. Not everyone, but a lot of people do, but they don't see the people that went on TikTok and dropped out of high school and failed. And now they have to go back to school 2 years older. And you know, now they're a senior again, and they never got their degree, or maybe they flew out to LA and, you know, it didn't work out, and they saw the bad part of LA instead of the beautiful, you know, famous side.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of jealousy as well. Like that's what I've noticed in like a lot of people, like if you meet like a random person, like they'll have like, oh, like the TikTokers, like, bro, like they're putting in like a lot of work.
They are.
Like, they're posting every day. Like they're doing but they're like not just doing like funny dances in the mirror. Like they're working.
There's a lot of money, you know.
Yeah, and they're using it. Like, exactly.
They probably have like dietitians, and they got trainers, and they got dance, you know, choreographers and all that stuff.
Who knows? There's more power to them. They know what's in. You know what I mean? Like I think that it's like, I feel like, but then like again, like, you know, he might think, oh, they're only making money dancing. It's like, you know what I mean? That's like what the sort of scheme some people might think, just because I think it's definitely more of a jealousy type thing. But it's like, again, I don't know. It's all subjective to who the person is, but I feel like that's a big part of the new like social media world, is like just a lot of sort of jealousy and comparing, but it is what it is. But I think it's good for them if you're 13 and you can make $1 million while you're just at school, and like you do your thing, do whatever, do your thing.
One thing I wanted to take you back to you mentioned ads at one point, and I can totally support as far as how you're growing your group organically, but you did mention someone paying $4,000, but maybe only getting $2,000 worth of value. Yeah. So they lost on, you know, as far as they weren't positive. One thing someone was saying, I forget his name, but he was fairly popular on like Twitter and YouTube. He's got a branding agency, and he said, I don't know if you know, you're too familiar with like trading stocks, but the idea is you trade low and you get out high. So you can take something that's like undervalued and get out when it's higher valued. So what he does is he looked at Twitter and how much, say, one ad cost, right? So let's say it was $100. He was able to take that $100, and he believed it was, in his case, it was undervalued for how much worth he could get. Yeah. So it was like, instead of paying $100 on like Facebook or whatever it was, he could pay $100 on Twitter, but get $125 worth of value on Twitter, or like worth. And then he would be net positive above that. So I would just, anytime, you may not do it now or anything, but if you're ever looking at your ads or where you want to put them, it could be valuable instead of going towards the more, basic, like Facebook or things like that. Like, I guess he's putting ads on TikTok now. And he was like, everyone thinks it's lame that a 45 or 50-year-old is putting ads on TikTok. Yeah, but I'm trading when it's low. Like, I'm getting in and I'm putting money into it, and I'm getting a lot more value out because it's new and people haven't quite figured out how to put a dollar value on it.
Yeah, no, it's not, because TikTok soon will get flooded. It's new now, but soon it's going to be flooded, and then probably, who knows, in another year or so there'll be a new app or whatever. But it's definitely smart. So my sort of process thinking with the ads is like, okay, now I know it's not going to be an overnight success type thing. Like, I don't know if that's like, even realistic for me. But it's like, now, okay, do as much as you can organic, and maybe 8 months, 12 months, 24 months, whatever months it is, I can be in a place where, okay, cool, I've done all the work I need to in the grind to get all the organic. And now I'm in a place where I have, profits to enough to go, okay, cool, I can make a little ad budget. You know what I mean? Like, and like I think I had to do the trial and error to learn about the ad budget to start. And then I was like, I just had to say, okay, like I think that my connections are more powerful, or more stronger, or more beneficial, or more profitable than running an ad to someone that's, scrolling through their phone. It's all like, again, to the relative of like who you are. So say if I built my clothing brand for 24 months and then I have a, huge base. This is just figurative speech. Huge base with huge organic growth. Like everyone sort of maybe is like, everything's from different sort of connections is networked out. And then now I can, on top of that, start using ads and like bringing in people from different sort of traffic and all that sort of stuff. So that's my sort of mindset on that now. And it could change, just like you said, everything's changing fast. But that's sort of what I really wanted to just build it organically, to start to build like a sort of like the foundation, you know what I mean? Like that classic saying, like, build a foundation before you do everything else. But that's sort of the goal. But like, I really, really think that's super cool about that post that you were reading, or the guy that you listened to about the getting in early. Because like TikTok is definitely still, it's definitely like, it's going to flood soon. And it probably is right now, just because how many people have learned that. But like, businesses that are taking advantage of that is going to be like, and that's probably what I need to, you know what I mean? I need to be like jumping on TikTok right now, to be honest.
I was going to
learning
say
about it, you know what I mean?
Well, I was going to say, if, like, in my opinion, you need to understanding your current ability is key. So like, in my opinion, it may be true or not, I don't want to speak for you, but you may be focused so much on building your core brand and how things work, how your sales are working, the websites, if any returns happen, how does all that go, the banking side, getting all that core belief done. And then when the next Snapchat, because it was Snapchat and then like TikTok or Instagram, when the next that thing comes on, now you say, you have in your idea, you've budgeted out $2,000. This is the way that, like, I've seen like the pros do it. Like real advertising agencies have a like growth plan for the next thing that hits. So like you would have had $4,000 saved up. You'd have had some marketing material and ideas that you could have launched and things. And then when the new market comes up, you're not looking at how to make the ad. You're looking at how to penetrate the market. It's like, it's a different view, in my opinion, rather than coming on the back leg and not doing it justice because you're a bit behind already.
No, that's really good. Because like, yeah, now it's like, if you're not in TikTok now, it's probably going to be a lot harder to get that
Yeah.
following. But if you were the first dude doing whatever you were doing, dancing or whatever, now you're probably the guy who's sitting there with like 1 million followers and like everyone's gobbling up like, oh,
Yep.
when's his next dance? You know what I mean? Like that's really smart.
Yeah. So, and you've seen some of the smart TikTokers are moving to YouTube. And so they're transplanting their fan base because they think TikTok may fail into a more stable. It's like those, I don't want to dehumanize it, but it's almost like their access, their capital is their fans. And they need to move their capital into a more stable thing, being YouTube.
No, yeah, that's exactly right.
It's interesting to kind of watch it.
And then that's like one thing that also goes back to the foundation. Like they probably know like maybe 1% of the people following them, maybe less, probably like 0.1. But then that, like you said, is their capital. That's their foundation. And like that, if you might not have 1 million or whatever, but if you have whatever you have, if you have 10, you still have 10 people that will follow you to YouTube. You have 10 people that will follow you there, and then they maybe get you on. You know what I mean? Like for the guys that have 1 million, that's beautiful. Like you have 1 million people that will go straight to YouTube, and then you can grow off that. But I feel like that foundation is definitely important, and then you can gain it either way. And especially the guys that you're saying that were in the app straight away, like they were penetrating straight away. Then they're following, and then it becomes their capital, which is I think that's really smart as well. Like how to use that.
So to change gears a little bit. You have how many products would you say you have right now?
So I had 9 to start off, and been blessed down to 5. So 4 of them have sold out. So
congratulations!
Yeah, no, that was awesome. So now, I narrowed it down to 5, and then just keep pushing it till I'm trying to set a goal for January. But obviously, like I don't know. It's possible for the goal setting of like. I try not to be as descriptive because you don't want to sort of be like January 1st, all sell out. And if it's like, okay, it doesn't sell out till January 29th, you're not just going to be like, oh, I'm terrible, whatever. I just sort of say, I just try. Yeah. You know how that gets sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I try not to be like that. I try to just be like, every day, if you put in maximal effort and just like let the process take, I just try to trust the process. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be, I know that there's benefits of setting deadlines. But with this, I don't feel like it benefits me. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to tailor it again to myself. So instead of saying January 15 sold out everything, I want everything out of the house. I've been like more like saying, okay, put work in every day. Like even like sometimes work could just be putting time into a relationship of messaging or texting someone that you haven't talked to or whatever. Like that's everything that you do is like sort of like tailored to yourself, especially since the brand is like ZWI as my initials. It's me. You know what I mean? So like every day,
very personal.
Work. Yeah, it's extremely, and that's sort of why I liked it because then it's more relatable and it's easier to connect. Like I could have done like some cool name like I don't know like just some whatever like Red Boy or whatever like something like thing. But I don't think that's sort of who I am as a person as well as like for the brand. Like you're not going to connect to it as much if it's not. If the real name is like I feel like in life you have your your name like it's got. Yeah, so I lost the picture.
No, somebody's trying to call me right now. So
someone's trying to get on the podcast, bro. Where am I on, bro? Where am I on?
They'll be on next.
But no, so yeah, I tried to make it like that, and then sort of like just use the power of like never underestimate like the work of like hard work, consistency. Like there's a lot of people that work hard, but like. Maybe they might hit a wall and then like, okay, cool. But like, I feel like you can be consistent and work hard. It's just like, that's sort of just gonna, and in my mind, I'm not saying like this is obviously I've had to work on this a lot. So I'm not trying to say that I'm like, some perfect. So I've had to work really hard to get to the mindset of like, it's going to like, you know what I mean? Like whatever happens, it's going to work out. Like if I keep putting in work, it's going to like in my mind, I'm like, it's going to sell out. I just got to keep working. Like that's what I'm like, oh, it's all going to be gone soon. But right now I got to put the work into sort of meet my mindset type thing. Because I can't, if my mindset, if I'm saying to myself, oh, it's going to sell out and I'm not doing anything from Monday to, I'm only texting like, oh, doing anything not Monday to Friday and expecting it to sell itself. There's no way, you know what I mean? Nothing's going to work for itself. And then that's sort of what my mindset is and how I work about it.
No, I love it. It's a great way to view it and keep true to yourself. in a sense. So where you can stay organic and you can truly believe in what you're doing. I had, the way I do work, just, I would keep yours the same, the way you're doing it. But I had the Entourage Effect brand where I sold CBD products for like a year.
Yeah.
And the
I
way
actually
I
remember
did,
you. I remember when you were graduating that you were telling us all about that.
oh yeah,
I
yeah.
remember that. That's a long
I was
time ago.
trying to hustle it out.
No,
That's
that's
yeah.
cool. I remember. I actually remember. That's crazy. That's sick.
Yeah. But the way I would do things is I batch work together.
Mm-hmm.
So like even with this, I'm doing like 3 podcasts today. So and last week
Like
I
that.
did like 2 podcasts in just
Mm-hmm.
one day, just because I'm better when I batch things together. So what
Yeah,
I
I
would
like.
do is
I like that.
early on in the Entourage Effect, it was exactly what you're talking about. You know, you start it one day and then
Mm-hmm.
5 months later you have a website with products and all this
Yeah.
stuff. And then I went through periods, like I would try and make waves in mine. So I'd like start it up, product launch. So it'd probably come up and then because it's exciting and then maybe it'd
It goes
fall off.
down. Exactly. Yeah.
And
Exactly.
then I would say, okay, I am cutting sales today. I'm not going to say I'm, sold out of everything, but I'm just not going to sell anymore today. And
Yeah.
so, kick off when you first start, fall, and then I'll kick off again, and then I'll cut sales. And it would allow me, what I would do is I relate it back to rugby, but I would watch film at that point. So I would go back and I'd say, okay, I started January 1.
Yeah.
I'm not doing sales anymore and I'm not doing as much content, but I started January 1. My launch went like this. My website went like this. My, X, Y, and Z, this is what happened. How did it go? And then I would say, okay, now I'm going to buy more inventory. I'm going to restock the things people liked, and I'm going to try and stock more of the things that sold a lot of, and kind of restart this wave. Because it's like, in my opinion, if you looked at something and you said, I want you to be full bore, it's like in sports, whenever you go in your season and you kind of peak at certain times and you try and peak at that championship, but you can't expect to have this like linear line all the way up to, like, it's not like you're not at the top the whole time. It's like, boom, I crushed it. No, I was a little, maybe I hurt something and then I'm coming back. And
yeah, no, it's perfect. Yeah, exactly. That's really good.
Yeah, that's the way I viewed it. It really helped me and really reviewing. I call it watching film, but your biggest value isn't always what's ahead of you. It's kind of what you just did. You know what I mean?
No, I like that linear. That's actually perfect. Because like for me, to sort of run off what you were saying, the opening week, it was like booming. Like I was like, happy buzz. But I sort of in my head, I was like, okay, just keep level. Like, it's never going to be like that. I had that thought, which is cool, I'm really happy that I had that, because some people might have been like, you know what I mean? You go up and then you go down and then you're like, oh my gosh, like what, you know what I mean? Like the high, the high, the high goes down, you know what I mean? Oh my gosh, so like, I just try, and then like, for example, for me to even tailor it more relevant, this week was my highest since my opening.
Really?
So that makes sense.
Congratulations, dude.
No, thank you again. Awesome. Yeah, thank you. So, but like, it's just perfect to what you were saying. That's 6 weeks of maybe that like little sort of thing, and then up again, exactly like what you're saying about that. And then that's sort of what I try to do as well, to jump on the mindset on that behind, to sort of just back up what you're saying, is like to keep like level through everything. And that might have been, people might learn that through sport or business. And I'm learning a lot of things through this, which is I'm grateful for. It's just like a level mindset. Like the good days they're going to come, but the bad days will also guaranteed.
They'll be right.
It's just like life. Yeah, it's just like life. Everything. It's just like, and just like try and be level. So enjoy. How would I say it? Enjoy the high and enjoy the low, because the low you're going to learn and like embrace it, because you know that the high is coming as well. But then also like enjoy the high, but don't just be like, oh, this is the new norm, like and thing. And then for some people, again, the importance of like tailoring it to yourself is, some people who have like a brand or product or whatever, they release a product and they know that it's probably gonna sell out within, like, some people have like 30 minutes, their stock's just gone, because that's what they have, you know what I mean? That's what they've built, that's what they sort of built, you know what I mean? And it's probably took, like we said, right? That's like, that's what we're talking about. That's probably maybe took them however long, 10 years, I don't know. But like, that's sort of, if you, like, for someone who's just starting up and you try to use that same thing and you bought like 50 things of one product, in each size. Like you have 100 things or 150, and you think it's going to sell out in one day or 24 hours, then you're just going to you're just setting yourself up for, it's just like unreasonable sort of goals, or it's just not going to happen.
I mean,
Yeah, it's just, yeah, exactly. That's exactly, setting expectations and being like, setting accurate expectations is something that's extremely important, because like, again, if you're comparing yourself, then you're just setting yourself up for failure. You know what I mean? Like you have to just be like, stay true, tailor it to yourself, and then see what works. But I like think that that's really cool how the linear, that's like perfect. The way you explained that was perfect.
Appreciate it, man.
I wish it was up the linear the whole time.
Yeah,
But
that'd be the shit, you know, just kick it
100%.
off and keep soaring. Yeah. That's no, so you know, what would you say? You've started your brand, awesome. You've hit your this is the most you sold in a week, right? That was your metric.
Yeah, since opening weeks. That's so it's been, I guess, 5 or 6 weeks since. It didn't reach the opening week one, but it's the highest since then. So that was,
okay.
It was a good week.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a good week.
So what would you say, you know, is your limit that you can handle internally? Like if you said, my brand is growing, you know, we're doing well, we're going to have surges and we're going to fall down a little bit, but my baseline is kind of, I'll make it up, say 50 units a month, or, you know, if you got up to 50 units a week, what would you say? This was really important for me when I was doing mine. What is your limit to still uphold quality and uphold like your marketing side or business side? Like, when are you going to tire yourself out?
Good question. I actually probably should have put more thought on this. I think for me, also, this is again tailored to me as a person. I'm as like a take it as it comes type person. You know what I mean? Like I would like for me, it's like, okay, I can do all the planning in the world and like prepare myself for this and that. But like we were talking about before, is like every plan will change. And I feel like that's especially true when you are doing something by yourself. And it's like, you might, you know what I mean? Like some people who have 6 or 7 partners, you can like delegate responsibilities. When it's yourself, you have every single responsibility. And like, it's perfect how you were saying like internally, because like, you know what I mean? Like you have to do the marketing, the shipping, the packaging, you have to do everything. And I think like, it's rewarding, but it's also definitely, you don't realize the time that it actually takes. And like, for example, like the learning as well. Because if you don't know, if you know what I mean, if you don't know how, you know, you might be really good at designing stuff, but if you don't know how to do the marketing, then you have to teach yourself. Or, you know, I don't know, you have to teach the best way to do the packaging, the thing that I've learned a lot is like the best way to do the shipping, work out the shipping costs and whatever's the best. And like you said, like for me, it's like, I don't think that I would get somewhere where I would be exhausted just because of the size, but eventually I'm going to have to gauge that as it grows, I'll have to keep reassessing that and then changing it again. And then again, like we've been talking about, tailoring it personally and like specifically to what the situation is. Like, cause like right now I've definitely noticed like opening week was like pretty hectic. Like I was like, cause like all the boys were jumping on, like I'm so grateful and blessed for the support, but I was like, oh crap, like now I gotta like, you know, make sure
now I gotta
like,
show up.
Man. I gotta make sure that it's all the right stuff and like sizes. And then like, but now as of, you know, maybe 6 weeks, 7 weeks down the track, and it's like, okay, now I have like little systems and I'm implementing new things. Like I got like, you know, my shipping thing down, like wipe down the table, throw it on. I'll do each package first for the ones that are closer, the ones that are international, sort them out, and then like, you know, go to even the people at the post office now are like cool with me and like know what's going on. I'm like, hey, stop, bro. Like, and then like he'll tell me like which way, hey, I know you've done this like a few times, but I think you could save money doing this. And then I'll be like, okay, I really appreciate you doing that. And then I'll assess like, okay, maybe I'll do this now. And then like just sort of learning on the go and taking it as it comes. That's sort of just how I am as a person as well. So like that's again how we've been talking about, just tailoring it to yourself.
Yeah, and just real quick, you're talking about shipping. You may have already done this, but I ran my brand for 6 months, and then I realized that I can negotiate with the shipping companies. And so I talked with UPS, and it was really simple. And I said I was shipping maybe 100 or 200 units a month, but that was my that was my projected growth.
Mhm.
and they ended up cutting my shipping charges as if I was shipping that, because they want my business. And so
Yeah,
I
they want the
say,
profits.
hey,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I ship a couple hundred units a month, and they'll say, okay, we'll give you those rates for 6 months. And whenever we get to that 6 months, we'll reevaluate
Reevaluate. Yeah.
and see where you're at. And so that
That's very
was
interesting. I'll definitely
that
look at that.
that and scheduling pickups were two quality. Well, one was financial, but the second one was a quality of life thing where I would, let's say you made an order, I would schedule someone to come pick it up from my house.
Oh, interesting.
And
So
put like,
I'll be doing the
yeah,
end of the day. Like my school schedule is like I'll pack in the morning, do
yeah.
whatever I need to do, school, whatever, and then at 4 when it's sort of dying down, post office trip. Like that's sort of my schedule.
Mhm.
I haven't even looked into scheduling pickup. Like
Yeah.
that's also really cool. So that's just learning and growing. Like I've learned a few things already. Now I can add that to my little list.
No, it's the only thing I was gonna add to what I was doing is to put like a lockbox with a pin code on it, and then just put the message of the pin code in the message to the UPS driver. So I don't even have to be there, and I know it's locked. For the most
Interesting.
part, someone could always come by with a
Yeah.
crowbar or something, but
Yeah.
at
The
that
world will
point,
be
you beat the
yeah.
low level thief. I
Yeah.
mean, that's
You can't control that. You can't control
yeah.
that.
So that was, just quality of life things was something I learned early on, and just trying to stay as, they call it putting the pressure on your vendors rather than yourself. So
Yeah.
pushing everything I can onto UPS so it's not on me.
Yeah, and it's
And
their job as well. You know what I mean?
yes,
Like
and
you're not doing
yeah,
anything that's not meant to be done as
no,
well. I like
it's
that.
yeah,
I
and
like that.
it's just using the full system. It's like what a corporation does.
Exactly.
They don't mess with that kind of stuff. Someone else
Exactly.
does it for them.
That's a really good point.
Yeah. So would you have anything like that you would want to say to a potential entrepreneur or someone that was starting off, and kind of and we can wrap it up in a little, or just a couple minutes, but what do you have as far as a message to someone who's starting off, or someone that wants to do it, or just something you want to convey?
Yeah. It's actually it's a good question. It's hard for me because I'm also like I've tried to I'm like still in the sort of the similar boat, but like if I could go back and
Yeah.
like before like thing like is just like the thing that I learned the most of that I would say to them, like whoever is like thinking about it or like hasn't, how you make the decision type thing, like, okay, I'm going to do it. Is like
Yeah.
one, if you're thinking about it and it's like dwelling on you, then you already like, I feel like you already as a inside, you want to do it. You know what I mean? If you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I want to do this, like I want to do CBD, like it would be a shame to yourself or it would be like a betrayal to yourself if you didn't just explore it.
Mm-hmm.
So then you like make the decision first, just make the decision 100%, just do it. Cause it's like, you're going to learn, you're going to grow. And it's going to be like, an experience as well. Like who knows what it could be, but like, for example, again, like if no one ever started something, then they wouldn't ever be like successful or like, everyone who's successful has been in your situation, like scared or afraid or a bit not sure, but then they just went with it and then whatever it is now. But I think it's like, for me, the biggest thing was controlling what you can control. Like you can't, you know what I mean? Like you can't control everything and like the planning, everything's going to change. It's like control the output that you have. Is like, okay, if you say that you want to, and also again, like we were saying, set like realistic expectations and goals. Like if you say, like you were talking about your units, you told UPS you want to do 200 units a month. Like, okay, analyze it. Is that realistic? And then set a realistic goal of what you want to do. And then for me personally, I set goals that are more that I can control. I can't control if something sells out by January 1st. I can do my best to try and make that happen, but I can't. If I can't just be like, that's going to sell out January 1st, 12 o'clock, it's going to be done. But I can control all the work that I put in, like every day in relationships, marketing, social media, whatever it depends obviously what you're, trying to do or sell or whatever. But if you can control the work leading up to January 1st, and again, it might not be sold out. Nothing might be sold, or you might be one away from selling out. But you're like, at the end of the day, I feel like if you control what you control and control how much you work leading up to that January 1st, no matter the expectation or the end result, you're not going to be, you're not going to be upset or happy. You're just going to be like, hey, that's what I worked hard. And if you work hard and there's nothing sold, hey, I worked hard. I worked my ass off. It didn't work out, but it's going to work out next one because I February 1st and then think. And then if you sell everything, you're like, yeah, I sold everything because I worked, you know what I mean? I worked from whatever month or whatever timeline you set every single day to try and make that happen. So that's the biggest thing that I've learned. And I'm only saying this because I failed at it many times at the start. You know what I mean? Like that's the only reason that I can even have this thing is because I had to learn how to do it, or through most mistakes or failure that's like the thing that I always try and say, because if it's never going to be perfect, but like if control what you control, that's the biggest thing. Because I'm sort of more of like a person that I use like a planner, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you know what I mean? And that's the thing that I had to change again, because like for me, it's like you can't, especially when it's just yourself, everything's going to change and it's always going to be different, like we were talking about before.
No, that's awesome, man. I think you have a very organic brand. It's been cool to watch you grow from, just a couple posts to now your website and the Instagram brand. And, I actually got one of your hoodies that I need to get some pictures of
Get
for
some
you.
photo shoot, bro.
Yeah, man, we got some snow coming up here in Colorado, so I may have to get a cool photo in the snow. But
yeah, bro.
Yeah, so it was great having you on, Zach, and I hope you have a good day, man.
Appreciate it, bro. It's a blessing to talk to you. This is really cool, and many blessings to you, bro. You keep going up.
Appreciate it, man. You too.
All right, bro.
All right, see you, man.